and you would wear some really wild stuff to get the best possible result that you could. And so I created the X sleeve. X marks the spot. X is for extreme. And so this represented a whole new level of stiffness and a whole new level of a product that can deliver a very powerful punch, a very powerful kick out of the bottom of your squat. Now, the principle behind what we were doing here is we put this sticky stuff on the inside here, and the sticky stuff is what has caused some issues. So there's a product in here, product inside the knee sleeve, some non-slip technology, ladies and gentlemen, that allowed the knee sleeve to stay in place, and it allowed it to not move or slide or glide around while you're doing your squat, which, with how stiff the outside material is, that would help rebound you and propel you up out of the bottom if the sleeve wasn't going to give or move anywhere. And so the IPF has overruled and overturned their initial approval of the X sleeve. This is the X sleeve with the grippy stuff on the inside. Now, what we're doing to make things right and to make matters right, we obviously do not feel very good about the situation. However, I feel amazing about the situation at the same time, because when you're a killer and when you take people out, other people are going to try to take you out. And that's where we're at here at Slingshot. We're assassins. We're knocking people off left and right. And now people have their hand on the trigger, and we're in the line of fire, right? We have a giant bullseye on our back. People are trying to keep up with what we're doing, and they'll do anything and everything to throw us under the bus. So, in my opinion, what has happened is I guess I'll call them competitors, but I don't feel like we have any competition. No one can actually hang with what we're doing over here. Our competition, they have outed us, and they've said, and the IPF heard their complaints, and so the IPF, instead of handling it the right way, saying, hey, you know what, tough shit, we already approved these products from Mark Bell and from Slingshot, and they're already on the list, and that's that. Instead of doing that, they made us retract the X sleeve from the product lineup. And so what we just did something really simple, because we didn't want to screw over the fans. We didn't want to screw over the people that ordered the X sleeves. So everybody hang on to your panties here, because here's where it gets to be really good. So this has happened to me before, and I'm sure it will happen again. Somebody comes in with a complaint, and their complaint actually just makes us better. So congratulations to our competitors for making our product better. So due to the fact that it has this grippy material on the inside, we actually now are allowed to make the knee sleeve thicker. Not thicker than the rules allow, but thicker than it currently is. This knee sleeve, due to the fact that it has this sticky material in here, is at about 5 millimeters. So we get to add an extra 2 millimeters of thickness. That's going to make this sleeve tremendously powerful when you go to squat in it. And you could argue that it now becomes even more powerful than it was originally. Having more material will actually prevent the product from slipping anyway, because the product will now fit even tighter than it did before. And a lot of you guys know how tough it is to get on a pair of X sleeves. This is the price of doing business. This is the price of being popular. This is the price of being strong. This is the price you pay when you get out in front of other people. And you want to know what? This is the main reason why most people never try. Because it's hard, and because people are always trying to knock you down. You climb a ladder, boom, someone knocks it out from underneath you. And you're like, oh man, that really hurt when I fell from that ladder. Man, they really knocked me down. And then you try to get up another one, and after a while, you're like, you know what? This is not worth it. This is why people don't take risks in their life, because people are assholes. People are always trying to knock you down. They're trying to take away your hopes and dreams. They're trying to stop you and prevent you from doing the things that you want to do. But we're not going to take that. We're not going to take that lightly here at Slingshot. We're coming at people full force. Any person that has purchased an X sleeve, any person that's purchased an X sleeve, whether they knew about the sleeve being IPF approved or not, we are going to send you. You'll have to order it. You'll get an email, but you'll have to order it. We're going to send you the new version of the X sleeve that is approved by the IPF that doesn't have the gripper inside of it. We're going to send you the new pair for free, no charge at all. And again, that's whether you knew about them being IPF approved or not, because that's the way we handle things here. I like to flatten things out. Somebody has something shitty to say, I like to say, you know what? You actually make a good point. You actually make a good point. I totally agree with you. But here's my beliefs. And I like to come from the other side and have people understand, you know what? I might not always agree with what that guy does, but at least he heard what I had to say. At least he's paying attention to me. And at least he understands my perspective. I understand the perspective of some of the other companies out there who got frustrated when we put our money into the IPF, saying the IPF's crooked and the IPF's this and that. I don't think that the IPF is crooked. I think that the IPF has a tremendously hard job to do. They have a brutal job to do. And they do and think about it, where else are you going to compete? There's not a lot of great options. You know, a lot of the federations, there's a lot of great powerlifting meets that happen every year. But you hear complaints about all of them all the time. The spotting, the loading, the misloaded weights, people not spotting properly. You hear about all kinds of stupid stuff, bad calls on the squat. It doesn't matter what federation you're in, you kind of always hear these things. And it makes you wonder, you're like, why do I even have a membership card? Why do I got to pay for a membership card every year if these federations aren't actually doing anything for me? But I would argue and say the USAPL and the IPF are doing something tremendous for you. They're doing something huge for you. Because it's the only federation that sets up a regional, a state, national, and worldwide form of competition where you can actually physically see and tell if you're the strongest powerlifter in the world. I mean, that's the only one that sets it up that way. Now, otherwise, it's kind of an objective view on whether you're the strongest in the world. I think a lot of people would say Larry Wheels is the strongest in the world right now. But if he's not competing against somebody else that's the best in his weight class and he doesn't beat them, then how can you consider him the best? And so the IPF and the USAPL, they do a great job of being able to put all those things together so that people can have contests where the competition level is really, really, really high.
What's your thoughts on people kind of pointing the finger and kind of laughing and whatnot and being like, you're going to have to take a hit after, the IPF overturning their initial approval?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about any of that. There's just a price you pay. There's just a price. It's a price of being in business. It's every company goes through these different things where they make a product, they think the product's great, they put it out in the market, and then there's like a recall on it. And it's like, oh shit, well and they don't have the same problem that we have. We have much less of our product out there than say like Ford or Chevrolet or Tesla or whatever. Like they might have thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of products out there in the marketplace, and they go, oh shit, like they're dangerous. What about the hoverboard, right?
Right. Exploding everywhere.
Yeah, and I've had cars, I'm sure a lot of the people listening have had cars where there's been a recall on the seat belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that sounds actually pretty dangerous. It's a recall on the seat belt or the airbag.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a price associated with doing business. And when you're trying to be a leader and you get out in front of people, it's going to even be harder because there's going to be other people are going to try to police your business. And that I believe 100% that is what has happened here. We've talked to some of the heads of the IPF, and they said, yeah, we're getting phone calls, we're getting emails, we're getting all kinds of stuff about, I'm sure they're not getting phone calls about the other competitors. It's probably mainly just about us. And what we're doing is because people want to because nobody knows who some of the other companies are. So they want to try to police us. They want to try to keep us down. They want to try to have an advantage over us. And, now that we're thrown into the mix, I'm sure we'll be doing the same thing, right? We're going to see somebody doing something and we'll be like, hey, well, what's the deal with that product? Or what's the deal with this? Or what's the deal with that? And so once again, I just want to be very, really clear. The IPF, we got every product that we have approved. Obviously, we didn't get like a Slingshot approved and things like that. All the gear that you can standard all the gear that you can normally wear for powerlifting meets got approved, including our X sleeves that have this grippy thing in here, right? The IPF has revoked, they have overturned their own ruling, and they have taken this version of the X sleeve with the gripper off of their approval list. That is why on our website it said sold out for a few days, because we had to retract, we had to pull this thing down. We didn't want people buying it with the impression that it was IPF approved. What we're doing to make things right is we're going out of our way to say any customer that has ever purchased an X sleeve gets a free pair of X sleeves, the new ones from us that are going to be on the IPF approval list. Just again, to be totally clear, this product right here was on the list. It was actually officially on the list. We got all the information. We are extremely excited and passionate and fired up about being part of the IPF, but I can assure you, we did not jump the gun. We took our time. We are a veteran company. We've been around long enough to understand that you don't just go and fire shit off into the atmosphere and not understand that there's going to be repercussions and there's going to be a response. And so we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited. We held back, and we were ready. Then we knocked everybody in the teeth with the commercial that we put together. Everyone saw it. And then I think, people have gone to IPF and said, I can't believe you're letting these knee sleeves in. And then, the IPF felt the pressure, even though these don't have anything that I think are against their current list of rules, but they feel that they are. And so we had to take the non-grip out and create a product that is still within all the parameters of what they have to be IPF approved. And so we made another X sleeve. This X sleeve now is going to be called the Grippy X sleeve. The new one that comes in is, I think it's the Extreme X sleeve is what it's called officially. So there's the story. You got it all right here firsthand. You go to our website, and tomorrow you're going to see both of these products on there. There's going to be 15% off. Now this product is approved. I still believe you can wear this in every other federation, but you just can't wear it in the USAPL and IPF. So USPF, USPA, LMNOP, SPF, you could still wear it. And those of you that are crossfitting in it and stuff, obviously there's no problem there. And if you're doing Olympic lifting, there's just no rules and regulations on that. And if you're doing strongman, they don't have a whole lot of rules either. They just want to see you lift up the heaviest thing.
So you went into the waiting part of the process, but like, what is the process? Like, we sent the X sleeve in its final form to somebody to be approved, and
Right.
It was approved.
Right.
So how does it, like, where does it go? How does it get checked off and then get okayed?
Yeah, so some of my understanding is, I think sometimes some of these things are like, they get a check, they cash it, and who the hell knows what they do with it, right? I don't know how professional of a company this is. So far, the professionalism doesn't seem amazing, what I think happened is, I think that there was two different people going on here. There was one guy who is kind of the head of everything, and there's another guy who is in charge of checking the gear. And I don't think that they communicated all that well on this situation. I do not understand how they had a list that they put out, and then they claim that they never even saw this sleeve. So that's some severe negligence on their part, in my opinion. That doesn't make, I don't know how that even registered. That doesn't even make sense. To say that you never got it, totally makes sense. To have it on an approved list and say that you never seen it is odd. That just means, like I said, that kind of gives me the message of, oh, well, maybe you care more about the money than what you're actually passing on this approval list. which that's not a great message. That doesn't feel good to think that they're that way. I'd rather have them be. I'd rather have them say, "Hey, you know what? Absolutely not. You know, we got the sleeve, and this one's not approved." Or we say, as we did, we checked multiple times with them, specifically about the X sleeve because of how extreme it was. We checked in with them specifically about the X sleeve, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's on there too." And it just so yeah. Again, mistakes were made on their part. On our side, I don't see any mistakes that we made. I guess it's possible that we did something wrong, but I really went over it a lot with Andy, and Andy went over it a lot with our team, and we communicated a lot. We see each other every day. So, and it's not that this company hasn't made mistakes. We've made plenty of mistakes before, but in this case, we were not at fault at all. So the product, went out in its final form, and it did get approved. It ended up on the list. Whatever way it ended up on the list, it ended up on the list. Whether it was premature on their part, I'm not sure. But then, once we kind of made the announcement and once we started talking about the products more, I think our products started to be out there a little bit more in circulation. And I think that a competitor actually physically took our knee sleeves. I would even guess that our competitor probably ordered them when we had free worldwide shipping. And they probably ordered them, and they probably took them to IPF officials and said, "Hey man, what the F is this? How is this approved?"
What in the IPF?
Yeah, exactly. What in the IPF is going on around here?
They couldn't help
And there's Andy Bell chiming in. New X sleeves will be available for pre-order tomorrow. That is right, Andy Bell. New X sleeves will be available tomorrow for pre-order. These sleeves will still be on the site. Just keep in mind that they're no longer IPF approved. They got disapproved. These guys are left on the cutting room floor, so to speak, which is very sad. If you're wondering why I'm over here doing this, it's because I got my live feed on Instagram here, which I'm actually going to shut down in a minute. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody over there, but we're still rolling over here.
And before we went all nuts with this commercial and stuff, what formal type of confirmation did we have, like, in hand before we went nuts and filmed that big ass commercial?
There was many emails back and forth. And there was and we have a contract where the products are actually listed on a contract. It's every product. It's like an itemized list, So it says gangster wraps, and then it says strong sleeves, and it's it says all this stuff. It's this big old list of like 20 products or whatever the hell it is. And those products are on the list, and they're supposed to be approved for the next 4 years. And just for whatever reason, there could be a lot of reasons for it, but for whatever reasons, the IPF said, "You know what? We psych, just kidding," and they overruled their initial ruling, which was to have the product on the list. Now, I am glad that I'm glad that we're not 2 years down the line or a year down the road, and people are competing in these things, and people are all fired up, and to have them, I think the IPF legitimately on their side of things, I think they legitimately think that we try to do something, but we didn't. We sent them the product. So there's no foul play on our part. We made a product that looks a certain way and has certain dimensions and certain things going on. We thought it had a chance to get IPF approved because it got it approved everywhere else, and it did, and then it didn't. So there's not really a ton more to really say, in those terms. But
I just want people to know that we didn't. It wasn't like a first pass or yeah, that should be approved. We'll let you guys know, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's approved. Let's make this commercial. Let's tell everybody.
Right.
It was full on confirmed and ready to go.
Yeah, and as much as we're explaining this, as soon as some of this stuff comes out, people are going to be like, "Oh, Mark Bell's money hungry," and people are going to say all these weird things and assume all these weird things, but it has absolutely nothing to do with that. And it has more to do with just a simple miscommunication. I've said